So today what we're going to talk about is graphing linear equations, and also we're going to talk a little bit about slopes, parallel, and perpendicular lines. So the first thing we're going to talk about is graphing linear equations. Now when you have an equation, this is an equation, you have to put it into what's called slope-intercept form. So what that looks like is y equals mx plus b. And if you can see here, this one's already there for you. So this equation is given to you in slope-intercept form. So the first things you're going to do to solve and graph linear equations is you're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form by solving for y, if the equation's not already put into slope-intercept form for you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make x 0 and you're going to solve for the y points. Then you're going to go ahead and graph all of your points. So let's start with example number 1. It says graph equals y equals 1/2 x plus y. Let's go ahead and write that. Y equals 1/2 x plus y. Or I'm sorry, plus 4. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually set up a t-chart of x and y. So x and y. So let's go ahead and just put 3 points. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to solve. So you're going to plug in 1, 2, and 3 for this x. So 1/2 times 1/1 plus 4. And that's what y equals. So 1/2 times 1 is just 1/2. So 1/2 plus 4 is 4.5. So y equals 4.5. Okay? So you're going to go ahead and you're going to plug that in. So when x is 1, y is 4.5. So now you're going to solve for 2. So when x is 2, what is y? So y equals 1/2 times 2/1 plus 4. So 1.5 times 2/1 is 2 times 1 is actually 2, and 2 times 1 is 2. So that just becomes 1. So 1 plus 4. So y equals 5. Okay, so when x is 2, y is 5. So now let's solve for 3. So y equals 1/2 times 3/1 plus 4. So 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. So 3/2, so y equals 3/2 plus 4/1. So now you need the common denominator, because you can't add these without finding your common denominator. We can make 2 our common denominator. So we can leave this one alone and multiply this by 2 and multiply whatever you do to the bottom, you've got to do to the top. So we've got y equals, so 3 plus 8, because 4 times 2 is 8, is 11 over 2. And if we divide 2 by 11, we actually get 5.5. So whenever x is 3, y is 5 and a half. So let's go ahead and graph this. Okay. So we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember, this is negative, this side is also negative, and this side's positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if x is 1, then y is 4 and a half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a half. If x is 2, then y is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then if x is 3, 1, 2, 3, then y is 5 and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. What we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and link them together. That is our slope, how we graph our slope-intercept form. Or yes. Okay. So now let's do another example. So if we look back with our notes, we're going to go ahead and go down to our third example actually, and it's graph 2x plus y equals 12. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and solve for y. So unlike this one up here, this example, your y actually was already solved for you and it was already put into slope-intercept form. So now what we're going to do is we need to change this linear equation into slope-intercept form. So let's write this out. 2x plus 3y equals 12. So 2x plus 3y equals to 12. Okay, so we need to solve for y. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this 2x on the other side. So minus 2x. Okay. All right. So then we've got 3y equals to 12, or I'm sorry, you actually need to put your 2x first, because if you remember, it's mx plus b. So a negative 2x plus 12. We need to get y by itself, so we're just going to go ahead, divide by 3, divide by 3, and we've got y equals to a negative 2/3 x plus 12. Okay, so let's set up our t-chart. Okay, so here is our t-chart. We've got x and y. So let's set up x's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let's plug in y for x. We've got a negative 2/3 times 1, which is actually just a negative 2/3. So y equals a negative 2/3 plus 12 over 1. Now again, we need our common denominator, so we can leave our common denominator as 3. So we're going to deal with this side. So multiply the bottom by 3, whatever you do to the top, we have to do, or whatever you do to the bottom, we've got to do to the top. So this equals a negative 2/3 plus 12 times 3, which is 36, over 3. Okay, and this is a negative 2/3. So negative 2 plus 36 is a negative 34 over 3. Okay, so now what you're going to do is we don't really know what this means on a graph. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to divide that. So 3 divided by a negative 34. And we've got 3 goes into 3 one time. So 3, 0, and it's going to be negative. So 1 times 3 is 0. We're going to bring down our 4. So 3 goes into 4 3 times. Or I'm sorry, goes into it 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. We've got 1. We can put 0.0, bring it down, and 3 goes into 10 about 3 times. So 0.3. So it's about negative 11.3. Okay? Then you're going to continue that for 2 and 3. You're going to get your answers, and then all you're going to do is graph your points. So for the sake of time, we're actually going to move on to our slope, parallel, and perpendicular lines. Now our slope-intercept form is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? So now we need to decide, we've got 2 lines here. So over here in our example, we've got line 1 and line 2. Now we want to see if these lines are parallel, perpendicular, or if they're neither parallel or perpendicular. Now, if these two lines are parallel, then their answers, or their slopes, are going to equal each other. If they're perpendicular, their slopes are going to multiply together to equal a -1. So let's try that now. So let's write out our slope-intercept form. So y2 minus y1. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, our first line, we've got, says -3, 3, and 3, -1. So -3, 3, and 3, -1. This is negative. Line number 2 was, or is, -2, -3, and 2, 3. So -2, -3, and 2, 3. So our first line, let's deal with our first line. So we've got y2, which is a -1, minus y1, which is 3, over x2, which is 3, minus a -3. So we're going to go ahead and add these two because a negative and a negative makes a positive. And up here, a negative and a negative makes a positive, and then we add our negative to our other side. So our first line has a slope of -4 over 6, which reduces to a -2 over 3. Okay? Okay, so our second line is y2, which is 3, minus a -3, over 2 minus a -2. Okay, so a negative and a negative makes a positive, a negative and a negative makes a positive. So we've got 6 over 4, or 3 over 2. Now if we multiply these together, so let's go ahead and multiply them.